I just listened to all 4 albums by the band Zephyr, and here are my thoughts. So going into this, I knew nothing about the band Zephyr. I think I was scrolling on Reddit a couple of months ago, and someone had mentioned them, maybe posted one of their songs, and I just thought, oh, new classic rock band, added them to the list. Zephyr is from Boulder, Colorado, and it sounds like they achieved a moderate level of at least local fame while they were active. I mean, in 2019, they were inducted into the Colorado Music Hall of Fame. As for their style of music, they start off very blues influenced, like heavy blues, and in their subsequent albums, they meld in some more inspiration, primarily kind of like a lounge jazz inspiration, throwing in a little bit of like gospel soul in there as well. Their singer, Candy Givens, has an incredibly powerful voice, and this is especially evident on their first album. It's kind of like if Janis Joplin sang for the band Blue Cheer, especially like those first few Blue Cheer albums. I don't know that many Janis Joplin songs. I haven't gone through her discography yet, but I know her voice, and this very much reminded me of that. So their first album, released in 1969, just self-titled. This is the album that leads with heavy blues. And the best songs on here, there were 4 of them that I counted. So definitely the first one, Sail On. Then we have Raindrops, St. James Infirmary, and Hard Chargin' Woman. All of these, I think, are the best songs from this album. This was a pretty strong album, although at times, Candy Givens is belting it out at the top of her vocal range a lot, and it could wear on my ears a little bit. Their second album, which is called Going Back to Colorado, is released in 1971. I thought this album was a little bit stronger than the first one because it sounded a lot more professional. They still sound very locked in. They're still very much in the flow of making and writing and performing the music, but they title song was good, kind of a honky-tonk influence. Few other good songs on here. It was a solid album as a whole, but my favorite song by the entire band is on this album, and that is the song Keep Me. This song leans a lot more into the very like soulful gospel kind of sound, and it's so warm and it's so passionate and relaxing. I loved this song very much. So yeah, great album. As a whole, they're shedding the heavy blues sound from the first album and leaning a little bit more into this more relaxing kind of lounge jazz sound that they have. Their third album, Sunset Ride, was a very relaxing album. Unfortunately, it also sounded like an album that they were very bored of while they were writing and recording it. I thought songs on this album like High Flying Bird and Moving Too Fast were pretty good. The best song on here by a mile, though, so it would be in my top 5 Zephyr songs total, would be Sold My Heart. Sold My Heart is a very upbeat, very sentimental love ballad. It just sounds like they really showed up for that song, and I really loved it. They had a new guitarist for this album, and I don't know how much that affected their songwriting and style, but fun fact I neglected to mention at the beginning of this video, the guitarist for the first 2 albums of this band was Tommy Bolin, who later found some more moderate success on his own, including playing guitar for Deep Purple's album Come Taste the Band. So we have 1 album left, and it is a weird one. It was released in 1982, so there's a big jump there. There's a big gap where they're not writing or recording. And as I half expected would happen, this album doesn't sound like Zephyr. There is so much more 80s pop and 80s funk influences here. The producers clearly had a lot of control over the guitar sound because they did that thing that producers always did in the 80s with the guitar sound. I don't know what words to use to describe the sound, but you know the opening riff when the guitar starts playing on the song Venus by Bananarama? Whatever that sound is, this is that. And I've done plenty of bands where I heard that. I went through Queen, I went through Rolling Stones, and every time you get to the 80s, the guitars always have that sound. The final effect of incorporating this 80s pop and 80s funk sound makes the album sound very dated. I don't know if this is just a me thing, but when I listen to classic rock from the late 60s and all throughout the 70s, something about it sounds timeless. But when I listen to 80s pop, I like a fair amount of 80s pop, but it sounds so locked to that time. It sounds like something that could only have worked in that time. That's not to say there weren't a few good songs on this album. We Got the Love, which I believe was track 3. This was a really good song. One of those songs where they spend the whole song kind of slow burning up to a really dramatic climax that they really deliver on. Mad Dog was a pretty nice song, kind of a nautical reggae theme. I also thought the final song, which is called In My Dreams, was pretty good. This was a really hard album to find, but I found a playlist on YouTube of the songs in sequential order. So that's how I listened to this one. This was Zephyr's last album, and sadly a couple of years later, the singer Candy Givens lost her life. But I love the fact that even 40 years after her passing, I am still here talking about their music and the impact that they had, even if it was just a local one, and the involvement that they had in a music scene that I really love. So yeah, that's all I got for you. The next band I'm going through is Strawberry Alarm Clock. I have some time, so I'll play a few excerpts of Zephyr songs for you to check out.
I must go on sailing and try to escape from my eyes, falling from my eyes. There must be a cloud. Yeah, I'm going on back to Colorado, but there ain't much going down around here. On this road of misery, I'm not sure what I'll find. It's so late in the night, and I need some peace of mind. Watching